Hi, everybody, and welcome to the day 30 of the 30-day post-a-day challenge. I'm very excited to be here with you all. And today I'm just really gonna, I'm not gonna keep it too long, but I just want to say that thank you guys, those who have watched for all 30 videos. And if you haven't, you can just go and watch them now. But I'm very excited to be here, and it's been challenging and exciting, and I feel really good about this last month of just broadcasting pretty much live. Almost all 30 days were live. A few of them were just animation clips, and a few of them were just quick updates. But most of them, 20, I think this is the 24th one that is a live broadcast. So it's been really awesome, and I just hope that everybody enjoyed it. I learned a lot. I learned that I like doing this thing here. I like doing this, and I just want to make so many more. And I just hope that you guys stick around and see what is to come in the coming months and years you know, of this channel, and see how it progresses and evolves and just grows. And I'm just so grateful that I get the opportunity to share art and talk about different aspects of it, just in general. And I'm glad. And this has been a huge transition this year in my life. If you didn't know, I made the biggest move of my life, moving to LA. That was something that was my dream for like 15 years, and really like 15 years at least. And I finally did that this year. I've been making a lot of changes, and just taking a lot of risk. And this is another one that I've just taken, that I felt like something that I needed to do to break out and just get out of my comfort zone and just put myself out there, my artwork, myself, everything, and just be willing and open to share what I've learned, what I'm continuing to learn, and what I can learn from you all. Hopefully, you can learn something from me too. And yeah, I guess this is started. I'm just really happy to be here. And today I wanted to talk about why I love animation and why I got into animation. So if I never told this story before, um, pretty much, there was a sequence of events, I guess, that happened that make me want to be the sort of artist that I am today. Um, I just want to say that Walt Disney Studios has had a huge, huge effect on me wanting to become an animator. Well, actually, that was they were the deciding factor that made me decide that I wanted to become an animator. I mean, how old was I? 1991. No, I was about six. No, was I older than that? No, I was about 7 years old when Beauty and the Beast came out in the theaters, and that was the movie that changed my life. I really say that because that was the movie that made me want to become an animator. Seeing that movie, and so many different things. I think when I was really little, I used to watch the Disney Channel, and back in those days, in the late 80s, it wasn't like it is now. They didn't have like reality TV and like the sort of things that they didn't have all these really modern, even in those days, modern, which would be like shows that came out, and around that time. A lot of what they showed on Disney Channel back in the 80s was the old shorts, silly symphonies, and the animated movies. And I don't know if they really do that anymore, or at least not like they did then when I was growing up. But I mean, those were like a lot of the first cartoons I ever saw were like the classics. And I really hope that kids these days are seeing that kind of stuff. I certainly try and show my son those sort of things because I just feel like, just being exposed to that, to classic animation at a young age, I feel like it made an impact on me in my life and what I wanted to become. Um, Also, there were just a couple of um, little incidences with people, just people not even that knew me that well, but just had a major, major impact. And like, if that's the thing too, if you see somebody and you want to say something to them, or especially like a kid or a teenager that's like, and you see something in them, then tell them, because you could be that one person that changes their whole life. And that's what happened with me. It was actually the first person who got me really interested in telling stories. It was my mother's boyfriend at the time, and I was like 6 years old. Yeah, I was like 6 years old, and my mom had this boyfriend, and one day he came over to our house, and he brought me a comic, a homemade comic. He made it just to show me, and it was totally like silly and hilarious, and I have no idea why. He was not like an artist at all in any sense. He was a dentist, and his name is Charles, and I really have to thank him one day because he changed my whole life. He brought me this comic that he had made himself, and it was so funny. It was called Mr. Man. It was the funniest thing, and the drawings were crude and everything, but the story was amazing. It was hilarious, and it cracked up. And from then was the moment that I was like, I wanna. That was when I really started telling stories with my drawings, because I think I was always sort of creative and I like to draw, but it was when he brought a comic and I just didn't even realize that people can do that. I don't know why. I just never seen anything like that. And when I saw him do that, God, I felt so inspired. And after that, I made comics like crazy. After he showed me that, I think I just made comics nonstop. And not too much long after that was when I saw Beauty and the Beast, and I said, okay, I want to be an animator. Um, but now that when I think of it now, it's like I made that decision, but so many things can get in the way. So many things can like influence you otherwise. And I used to like literally I had the VHS and I used to pause scenes and I used to just sketch the scenes when I was a kid. And I would make up my own characters and stuff in comics, and I would make caricatures of the teachers and other students and stuff. But I don't know. I think it was just maybe influence, maybe just not sure like if it was even possible to become an animator at all, or what it was that actually got me other things. And I really loved animals. I loved to draw animals, and so there was several years in there where I wanted, after that, when I was probably like 9, I really wanted to become a veterinarian. And so I was still drawing a lot of animals. And I guess because I thought I loved animals and I loved drawing animals, I thought I should be a veterinarian. But anyway, that kind of, and I think when I was an early teen, I got like confused because my mom told me that I should be a doctor. And I believed her, and I was like, oh no, I don't want to be a doctor. I think probably I was like, well, if I don't want to be a human doctor, at least I'll be a veterinarian. I don't know. I don't know what it was. I definitely didn't want to be a doctor, though. She wanted me to be one, but I definitely knew I didn't want to do that. And I thought about business, and I thought about lots of things when I was a teenager. I think I changed my mind quite a bit. But, right there when I was confused as a teen, also, I had gotten approached by another little guardian angel. And my mom had signed me up for this summer camp, and it was a summer camp for engineering of all things. I don't know why, but it was actually a really awesome experience. It was at Georgia Tech, and she signed me up. It was like 2 weeks long course for high school students. We actually got dorms and everything. And anyway, I went to that, and I got approached by another little guardian angel, I would call him, because we were at some hall listening to somebody talk about something, I'm assuming in regards to engineering. And I was sketching, because I used to sketch all the time. Like, I used to sketch all the time, and I was known as the girl who draws stuff. And even though I didn't, at that point, I was still really unsure about art being a career. Even though I had, when I saw the Beauty and the Beast, I really, thought, oh wow, I really want to do that. I still somewhere was insecure about it and didn't think that I could do that as a living. And so as a teenager, I was just unsure. And so this guy approached me when I was drawing, and not, I wasn't drawing to show people. I wasn't showing anybody my drawings. I was just, kind of in the back of the room sketching, and he just happened to be walking in the aisle behind me, and he asked to see my drawings. And so I showed him my drawings, and after he saw them, he said, like, I don't remember what his exact words are, but something in the sorts of, what are you doing here? And, I tell him, I'm just here for the cat. He's like, well, what about your artwork? And I was just like, I don't know. I just like to draw. And he was like, wow, it would really be sad for you to waste your talent. And I don't know, something about his words. He didn't know me. I'd never met him before. He'd never met me before. And for some reason, like, that really made me think, wow, maybe I can be an artist. An adult is telling me that I can be a professional artist. Like, that's a thing. Like, really, not just like a dream thing, like a kid dream, but like a real thing. And I don't know. After he said that, I really started to look into taking art seriously, because I had never, up to that point, I'd never had a real art class. Up to that point, I'd never been trained. I had like crafts. I had like a crafts class that I went to at the Brooklyn Museum when I was really little. We used to make, I don't think we were making like animals out of like those pipe cleaner things. I remember doing that, but I'd never had like a real, even like a regular school art class. I went to private school my whole life. I grew up going to Catholic school in New York, and and a lot of private schools, I don't know if they do this anymore, but I think they kind of don't really, consider that part of the curriculum, art class. At some point we had music, and I guess they thought that was as creative as we needed to be, was taking music class, which is, I mean, it's good to have music, but music and making visual art is entirely different things. But anyway, after that angel, I'll call him, because I have no idea what his name was or anything. I really thought, well, man, maybe I can do this. And so I experimented. I said, yeah, I want to do animation, and I really loved it. And at some point, I think when I was about 17, I got confused again. Well, maybe I want to do fashion. And I said, well, I want to do fashion and animation. Maybe I'll go to school for both. and I just was like, I was kind of like, well, maybe I want to try out fashion and go to animation school. Because I liked making stuff. I like designing. I like designing things. And I didn't know that I didn't even know, I'd never even heard of character design at that point. I didn't know character design was a thing. I just knew I liked to design and I like cartoons. So what am I going to do with that? So I did end up going to fashion school first. I went there for 2 years. I got an associate's degree there. I just couldn't stand sewing. I loved the drawing part. I would spend a lot of time doing the drawing models. And I really actually think I got a lot from that experience. I learned everything I know about proportions at fashion school. I mean, you wouldn't even think so, but I learned all my proportion stuff. I learned how to use Photoshop there. I didn't, I mean, I had all of those foundational things I learned at fashion school, and I was like, after like a year and a half, I don't know, I think it was earlier than that. I was like, all right, I don't want to like just quit and just waste my time, but as soon as I get associate's degree, which is a 2-year marker, I guess, if you pass your required courses and everything for your 2-year mark, most places offer associate's degree. Well, I don't know. I think was for specific majors they do offer associate degrees, and so for that I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna stay until I get my associates, and then I'm out. I'm going to animation. And that's exactly what I did. After I finished that, I left, and I had my, life happened. I took like, I ended up actually, that was the point where I took some time off for personal life, and I had my son, I was married, and I started to, very shortly after I had my son, I started applying to schools again. Hold on. That alarm, man. Right, and then we'll be talking. But yeah, when my son was like, how old was he? He was only, gosh, still a baby when I applied, and I only applied to one school, and that was School of Visual Arts. And I was like, yes, I'm going to animation. And so I decided I was going to do animation, and I did. And that is my story. My long story about me getting started in animation. But I think the big thing to take out of this, if nothing else, is like, if you see a kid with talent, don't be shy. Tell them to pursue it. Make a comic, make a little comic. It doesn't have to be long. Make a little 3-panel comic for them, rough sketches. You could change their life. You could be the one. You could be their little angel that, makes them decide, hey, maybe I want to do this. I don't know how many people are doing that. How many people don't even know the impact that they had on somebody else's life? I bet you these people who I just mentioned, I'm sure they don't even know. I'm sure they don't even know the impact that they had on me, and that they changed my whole outlook on what I wanted to do with my life. And I'm still sort of a beginning artist. I'm still trying to make my way in my career and in my personal life as well. Being a mom and being an artist as well, and just trying to figure it all out. I definitely don't want to. I spent a lot of time like by myself when I was a kid, like a lot. I mean, my mom was a single mom, and I know that she did everything she needed to do, but as a result of her being a single mom, and as in New York City, and her having to take care of 2 kids, she worked full time, and I spent a lot of time by myself as a kid. And I think that's why a lot of the reason why I draw so much too. But I definitely want to be around more with my son. So it's just balancing everything out, balancing career with personal, not letting one uh, overshadow the others. So you gotta have balance. I mean, you can't not have any time to do what you feel like is your calling, because then I feel like you just lose your, I guess, spirit and zest for life. But at the same time, you don't want to forget or neglect your family, because I feel like you really will regret that later. You have to make time for both. And so here I am, and here you are, finding our way, finding our way in this world, in this life, and trying to make it all work. I'm drawing Mickey because I am inspired by him in my next film. Yesterday, I did a review of some very rough thumbnails for my next short film that I'm creating right now. I'm in the works of it right now as we speak. I'm almost through. I'm about 3/4 through with the thumbnails, and I think after I get a little animatic going, actually, yeah, I'm just gonna start shooting after that and animating. And like I said before, it's a combination of live action and um, stop motion and hand-drawn animation, so it's a little bit of an experimental process, but I'm really super excited for it, and I think it's gonna be great, and I think it's gonna be a great experience, and I'll be really excited to show that as soon as it's all done here. And I can't wait to show you guys what actually comes of it. I like, I pick up a couple things when I draw. One of the things that the director of he's the animation director of Zootopia, and he talked about like classic Disney and like how like the ear wraps around from the head, so it's like you'll that's what he did with the fox. It's like, and even the muzzle like wraps around from the head, so you'll see there's like the round ball, and then this wraps around. So you never think that you're too big to watch the how-to tutorial stuff, because I thought like yeah, I don't remember. I think it was like playing on like Disney Channel or something like that. And it's they do those kind of little quick videos for kids, but like just it doesn't matter how old you are, just watching how the animator um, draws it, it just helps so much for you to figure out how to make it. Um, and it doesn't matter like what skill set you're at, you can always learn something. You can always learn something more, especially from these original designers who create these characters. So, yeah, that was something I definitely didn't even know before. So it was really neat to hear him say that. I'm just doing a couple of, trying to see how this works. I think I'm going to do a couple of these sort of noodle animation drawings, not just Mickey Mouse, but do some Fleischer animation stuff too, just to kind of get a feel for these old-timey classic animation. Original stuff. Get a feel for some of these things. I like the hands, how they're just like these. The fingers are just so funny, and the way they do the fingers back then, they're kind of neat. I'm gonna have to figure out how that works. And I think that's pretty cool. I like the way that looks. If you guys are watching the what's it called? I was gonna say Super Bowl, but oh, sorry, animators. I don't know what sports are going on. The World Series, that's what it's called. If you're watching the World Series, I hope your team wins, whoever that is. And if two different people are cheering for two different teams. Well, I hope they both win. I'm not a sports fiend, but my husband is, and he's watching it right now. I just heard it right now. He's watching it. I don't think he's really a baseball fan at all. He's a super football fan, Giants fan. But if your team is playing, I hope they win, and I hope you have good luck with that. And always know where the arm ends. It's like, I gotta think about that. Where's the arm coming from, or where's the arm gonna end at? Even if you're referencing from a drawing, still, you have to know. And it's a good thing too, even if you're drawing someone like another like pre-drawn character, still think to yourself, what is this character's emotion right now? That will help you add to it. Even if you vary from the original drawing, if you just think, oops, that's the alarm. If you just think to yourself, what is the emotion of this character right now? That will make your drawing so much stronger, because you might need to just raise one eyebrow a little bit more. You might need to just curl the smile a little bit more, or to make the grin a little more malicious, or something like that. And it could be, like I said, even if you're referencing like making fan art or something, still think to yourself, what is the emotion of this character right now? What is that character thinking right now? And that will make your drawing a whole lot stronger. And that is going to be it for today. So I hope you guys enjoyed my little talk and drawing Mickey Mouse. I love Disney animation, and yeah, it's just always, fun for me to reference the stuff that has inspired me for years and years, and just kind of like revisiting the old to make something new. And I guess that's just how I see it. And I'm so glad again that we had this time to just get to know each other. And I just hope that you stay tuned and subscribe to the channel. Even if you don't subscribe to the channel, come back and visit every once in a while and just, see what's going on, or share with me if you have a channel or if you have a website and you have some artwork going on. Just share that with me. And if nothing else, I hope you like this video, and thanks so much. And I will definitely be in touch. Definitely Fridays. I'm going to be doing Figure Friday this Friday at 11 o'clock. I'll be live again. And until then, be grateful, live balanced, and be yourself. I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.